Hello, good evening. It's Monday night, June 23rd. It is hot as Hades. I'm coming to you live from northern New Jersey, where the real field temperature right now is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It's 101 degrees. Yeah. So any of you that are in that you're in a heat wave like I'm dealing with right now, I hope you're all taking it easy and you're staying hydrated and all the things. So, got a lot to unpack tonight, guys. So if you're new here, this is your weekly live dose of real estate reality. I'm Jackie Baker, real estate agent here in northern New Jersey, and got a lot to talk about. So Zillow is now saying housing market is heading towards a more balanced market. Pretty awesome. We need that. We want that right now. A couple of the things I want to talk about tonight. You may recall a couple months back, I was talking about how Zillow was not going to be showing Compass, the real estate company. They have their exclusive listings, and Zillow is saying we're not going to show their exclusive listings anymore. Guess what? Compass is now suing Zillow. We're going to touch on that. I also want to talk about a new feature that I found said this weekend. My client pointed this out to me. Thank you, Leanne. Um, Zillow has a feature now where it's making suggested offers, suggesting an offer strategy for you. So I'm going to show this to you tonight. This is interesting, and it's basically if there's homes in a seller's market, it's telling you like what's the offer that's going to help you win that house. Pretty scary stuff. Anyway, let's dive in, shall we? Before we start, do not forget, you see the comment on the top there. Share your housing wins. Did you get under contract? Did you get an offer accepted? Did you close on a sale? Did you buy a house? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear about it because we need to celebrate it, because even though this housing market is crazy, people are still getting houses, and we want to share those wins with everybody. So thank you all for being here. So let's get into this right now. Oh my goodness, my computer is not behaving tonight, so just bear with me. Now we'll get to your comments too, don't worry, and your questions. Also, yeah, you see on the banner, put the QQQ so I can find your question. That would be swell. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get into what does Zillow have to say now. Hold on one second. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm so sorry. A little slow for me tonight. All right, here we go. The market tips towards balance as inventory rises and competition eases. And listen, I can speak firsthand for this here in Jersey. You know, the Jersey market has been crazy. Those of you who are watching from New Jersey, you've heard me talk about this. Those of you who are living here trying to buy a house, you know it's been crazy, but I'm seeing the signs. It's softening. So I'll share a little bit more about that later. So guys, let's get into this. So it says more stable economic conditions and a surge in available homes helped boost sales in May after a slow April. Buyers have more options and lower mortgage rates than last year, but sales remain sluggish compared to historical norms as buyers grapple with affordability headwinds. For economic uncertainty in the wake of trade tariffs and losses in the stock market contributed to slower newly pending sales than expected in April, falling 2.5% from the year before. As tariff concerns eased and the S&P 500 rebounded in May, sales rose 3.5% over April. That's up 0.9% from last year. With inventory up nearly 20% over the previous year, buyers have more options in May than at any time since July 2020. More options. There's more inventory. This is what we've been waiting for. This gives buyers more time to decide and more power in negotiations. Zillow's market heat index shows a balanced market nationwide, one that's a lot more buyer friendly than in recent years. Competition among buyers declined to the lowest level seen in May in Zillow records, reaching back through 2018. Home values have fallen in 22 of the 50 largest metro areas over the past year, and sellers cut prices on almost 26% of listings nationwide, another May high in Zillow records. Homes that sell typically do so in 17 days, about 4 more than last year and only 2 days fewer than pre-pandemic averages. Despite a less competitive for sale market, renting a starter home makes financial sense, at least in the short term. For much of the nation, rent for a typical single family home is roughly $100 cheaper per month than the mortgage payment on the typical US home. Even after 10% down payment 6 years ago, renting was $373 more expensive than buying. This shift helps explain why housing demand continues to bounce along the bottom. So let's take a look at some numbers here. We have, they gave a report here on the home values. Right now, the typical U.S. home value is $366,289. The typical monthly mortgage payment, assuming 20% down, is $1,922. Home values climbed month over month in 36 of the 50 largest metro areas in May. Gains were biggest in Buffalo, Cleveland, Milwaukee, Hartford, and Pittsburgh. Home values fell on a monthly basis in 10 major metro areas. The largest monthly drops were in San Jose, Miami, San Francisco, Austin, and Orlando. Home values are up from year ago levels in 28 of 50 of the largest metro areas. Annual price gains are highest in Cleveland, New York, Louisville, Hartford, and Providence. And they go on to say the home values are down from a year ago levels in 22 major metro areas. The largest drops in Austin, Tampa, Dallas, Phoenix, and San Antonio. What's key here is the inventory. They go on to talk about inventory and new listings. New listings increased by 4.8% month over month in May. This is huge. New listings increased by 4.5% this month compared to last year. New listings are down 19.8% lower than pre-pandemic levels. So we're still lower than pandemic levels, but it's coming back up, which is huge. Total inventory, the month of listings active at any time during the month of May increased by 7.4% from last month. So guys, it's more the same stuff. I know I talk about this every week and you're probably sick of me talking about it, but look, this is our life right now, right? With this crazy housing market. So I will tell you what's going on. Okay. Inventory is rising. People are finally getting off the fence. They're tired of waiting for the mortgage rates to come down, waiting for, prices to come down. So now people are finally just getting off the fence and they're listing their homes. Want to share with you what I experienced just in the past week here in northern New Jersey. We all know how crazy it is here. It's been since the pandemic. It's slowing down. And I got firsthand experience. So we put a listing on the market last week. Now, yes, this house was listed with another realtor at a higher price. And we came in and said, you know what? Your price is too high. We came at a more competitive price. Guess how many people showed up at our open house yesterday? Zero. Yep. Somebody came to, an agent came to show it last week and it reached out and said, hey, I think my people might want to put in an offer, but they're going to go to some other open houses this weekend before they make a decision. And guess what? They ended up putting an offer on another house, not our listing. 7:39 p.m. So, there goes my watch. Sorry. Anyway, they ended up going to put an offer on another home. So what is this telling us, guys? Okay. First of all, we know in Jersey here, summer, well, I guess everywhere, this summer, super slow. It dies down a lot. But even during the pandemic market, like in the last 4 years, I mean, homes were still moving here in Jersey. They were selling quick. Now, not so much. So when that agent told me that, oh, my buyer liked it, but they found something better, I think we're going to start seeing more of this. There's more to choose from. So it's important to price your home correctly, competitively, and make sure the house shows very well. Because now you got more competition. You got more homes that are coming up against you, more for the buyers to choose. So anyway, just a little note here on what's going on in Jersey. So let's say hi here to everybody. Oh, under contract, Matilda, congratulations. I'm so excited for you. Leslie, hi from Texas. Welcome, Leslie. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Michael, loving your show from Mesa, Arizona. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. What else we got? Janie, hi from Colorado. With this crazy market, why don't we hear more options like rent to own or assumable loans? Or did I just miss the talk? No, Janie, you didn't miss anything. Assumable loans, they're hard to come by. A lot, they're just, or if you're thinking about like owner financing, where say you want to buy the person's house and say they'll hold their mortgage, they'll hold the mortgage, they'll hold the note. I've heard that where homeowners will do that, but it's very rare. But assumable loans are VA loans. There's a website called assumelist.com. I recommend you go there, check it out, see if there's any it lists homes that have assumable loans. So you can go in there and check it out and see if there's any loans, assumable loans in your market. Um, Rent to own, same thing. A lot of people have gotten away from that. The landlords don't want to do it because say if they sign an agreement, somebody signs a 1-year lease or a 2-year lease and say, okay, we're going to pay you rent. And then we're going to buy this at the end of the term of our lease. And we're going to be, all the rent we're paying is going to go towards that. It's hard to predict what the market's going to do. So if you agree on a price now, say $600,000, and say a year from now or 2 years from now, that price, that value goes up. Now that landlord's out extra money you could have made. I mean, it sounds crappy, but it's the truth. So, landlords trying to make their money. What else we got here? Clark. Oh, Clark. I love that profile picture you got there. Very nice. Very, very nice. Found you about a week ago. Just put an offer on my first time in New Jersey. Oh my God. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. I hope it works out. Please check back with me. I want to know. We're expected to close in a home Thursday in Fresno. Congratulations, Amanda. Thank you for sharing that. And here's my buddy, David Matney. David, I love your profile picture too, dude. What's up with that? I love it. How are you? Oh my God, we're gonna go to super chat. I love it. Love it, love it. Engines, vertical line. Thank you so much for the super chat. That just means a lot. Offered $475K and an old Pennsylvania Colonial in Malvern that needed work, was 2.2 acres with a shot septic, rejects no inspections. What the F is a walk and talk? Listen, you don't know what the seller's situation is. Sometimes I know you get annoyed and you're like, what's wrong with you? You got to hope that their agent is guiding them the right direction, but you can't force sellers to do what is always the right thing to do. You just can't. That's it. What we got here? Brian from Portland. How are you, Brian? Appreciate you. Oh, look who's here in the house. 90. How are you? It's been so long. Thank you. Oh, Jivon's back from South Korea. Thanks for being here, Jivon. Appreciate it. Oh, I live in Australia. Get out. Oh my gosh. We're like, like all the way around the other side of the world. This is great. My family are in Sydney. Whilst home prices took a dip at the end of 24, it's now trending higher. We also have a housing affordability, availability, rental issues. So yeah, I feel like a lot of countries in the world are like in the same boat that we are. You wouldn't think, but it's true. I mean, you talk to other people in other countries, it's crazy. They're all going through the same stuff we are. 90, thank you for that. Smash the like. Thank you so much. When you hit that like button, YouTube will then say, hey, let's share this with the rest of the world. People are liking this live stream, so let's share. So thank you for putting that out there. CID Campy. Hi from Bergen County. Hello. We are closing on the 30th. We put our home up for sale in May on a Thursday, had an open house Saturday, and we accepted an offer that Monday. Thanks to Stella. Of course, thanks to Stella, because Stella's a freaking rock star and she's my partner and she's awesome. So I'm not surprised. So that's awesome. Thank you for being here and sharing that. I really appreciate it. Yes, I only work with the best people, just so you know. Let's see here. Still no luck in Greater Pittsburgh. Low inventory and very high prices. Listen, AJ, hang in there. It's going to be coming. Because if I'm seeing it now in North Jersey, which I never thought this was going to happen, it's happening. I mean, I had to tell my client today, he was a little frustrated and I said, look, don't freak out. it's not it's the house isn't gonna it's not gonna sell. It's gonna sell. It's just gonna take a little bit more time. And we're not used to that. Like you just shared that, you listed on a Thursday and you had an offer by the weekend. This is what we've been used to in North Jersey and a lot of these strong seller markets. Homes are selling in days. I think we're back to weeks again, which this is how things used to be. And we need to get back there. I've been saying this like forever. All right. So what else? Let me just pull that off the screen. Okay. I wanted to share with you. I found this article right before we came on, and I thought it was really interesting and important to share because it says, why is the housing market so stuck? And it explains 4 different charts. And I thought this is good information for those of you that are like frustrated with this market and saying, what the heck? Why isn't this getting better? Okay, I am not. All right, my computer's just not working today. Okay, why the housing market is so stuck in 4 charts. High mortgage rates, high prices, economic uncertainty all play a role in weak home sales. So this goes on to say, these are the reasons why the market has been stuck. Number 1, you have home price growth outpaced wage inflation. I talked about this before. You see this chart here. Look at this. Median list price, median household income. It's like it's been flat since 2017, the median household income, but then you look at the median price, list price, it's ridiculous. And it says for decades, home price appreciation has been outstripping earnings growth. In the last 25 years, home values have more than tripled. The steepest climb came between 2020 and 22, when pandemic moves and ultra low mortgage rates spurred a buying frenzy across the country. Okay, here's another reason why the market is stuck. People with 3% mortgages are hanging on to them. This is still the case in many markets. However, like I just said in the beginning, I think people are getting off the fence now. I think they've had it with waiting and they just want to sell and move on. So I think this is why we're seeing a rise in inventory. Let's see here. What's the other chart? All right, it's not here. Anyway, so those are the mortgage rates. I'm sorry. Mortgage rates are still hurting the market. So you all know our buddy Jay Powell, I like to call him Jay Powell, Jerome Powell, the Fed decided to pause the federal interest rate. They're not doing anything with it, but although they are saying they're going to be doing 2 cuts by the end of the year. We'll see what happens. Now, listen, I have an opinion on this one, and I'm sure a lot of agents do as well. I was okay with that, with him not cutting the interest rate. And you're all like, what's wrong with you? Okay, here's the problem. What we're seeing now, like this balance that we're seeing, I mean, it's not a huge, it's not like what is happening in Florida and Texas. I mean, Florida is definitely over to a buyer's market right now. It's going to take a while for the rest of the country to get to like where Florida is. But this is what's needed. And if the Fed cut the rate and then mortgage rates came back down, what's going to happen? Everybody's going to come back in, want to buy a house, and they're going to be overbidding. There's going to be too many buyers, not enough houses. We have to get to a point where we got to get more inventory. And I've been saying this, that it has to get to a point where the interest rates get low enough to a point where those who have, who already live in homes and have interest rates below 4%, it's got to be enough for them to want to make the move, right? The interest rate needs to be, I've been saying, in the 5s. I think the 5s is the magic number that is going to help people want to give up the lower interest rate and then put their house on the market. That's been my theory for years. I've been saying this. And who knows, maybe in 2026, we will get there. I hope. Let's see. I don't know. We got a lot of quiet. Oh my gosh. I love this. I love you guys so much. I love coming on here. Okay. We have another win here. DK says closing in a month, worried interest rates will drop and market will correct and house value will go down. DK, I want to tell you this. Don't think about that. This is long term. right? You bought this house. This is your place, a place where you're going to live, hopefully for the next 10, 15, 20 years. The market's going to fluctuate. Housing market always does. It's going to ebb and flow. Don't stress about that. You're going to be living in this house for quite some time. Yeah, will it drop in the next couple of years? It's possible, probably by not a lot. I'm not saying it's going to drop by like 20%. They're not predicting that. It's gonna come back to more like of a normal level. Like, I already know, like, I'm seeing the market softening, and I'm thinking, "Wow, I could have made a lot of money on my house," but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Um, Jivan, didn't know you're international realtor celebrity. Thank you, Jivan. I didn't either. Who knew? I can't believe this. This is crazy. Um, Vic says, buying a house in the Texas area in about 2 years. I do hope prices start to go much more in the buyer's market, not just a balanced market. And you know what? You might get there. Vic, we may see that. I mean, Florida, like I just said, they're already in the buyer's market. I think Texas might be in the same boat. See, we have sold her house over Ask in Central Jersey, just closed last Friday. Congratulations. That's amazing. Very excited for you. Let's see. Dan in the Dirt says realtors need to be talking to these sellers about coming back to reality. Okay. I'm glad. I'm glad you brought that up. And Dan in the Dirt, where have you been? I haven't seen you in like the longest time. Thank you for being here. Anyway, this is what I've been saying. I've been telling people, listen to your real estate agent. Okay. Like we just had this with this listing we just put on the market. Beautiful home. Beautiful home. He had it listed with a different real estate agent. He was overpriced, and we had to have that coming to Jesus party with him and tell him, like, "Look, you weren't getting buyers because you're overpriced." And he was like, "Why? I don't understand." I'm like, "Because you're not in line with the current market. Now we're back in line." He's back in line with the current market where we are. I think we're priced right. I mean, the fact that we haven't gotten offers yet, it's okay. Again, it's the summer. People are holding back a little bit, and people are on vacation, and we also have more homes to choose from. That's the key thing. All right. So we have a question here from Leslie. Do you think climate migration will cause markets in the north to become more overpriced? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to have any impact on that, but that's me. I'm not, you know, that's my opinion. Just a lonely Jersey realtor. If a house is sold in 2019 for 250,000 and the house is now listed at 475, what realistically can we see that adjust back down to? So listen, AJ, it's hard to predict. I don't think you're going to see it drop. It's not going to drop back down to 250. It's not. You'll probably see decreases come down by like 5%, 7%. It's not going to be a huge amount. And I've been saying this pretty much every week. I'm banging the drum. And unless we have a major disaster, economic fallout, whatever, what have you, where we're going to have something similar to the great financial crisis, please let's pray that never happens again. But we're not going to see prices come back down to 2019 prices. It is what it is. They'll come down a little bit. They will. And then we'll see. I think it'll be a little bit more. It will come down to a point where I think it's going to be a little more affordable for people, and also when they lower the interest rates too. Jose, hello from Dominican Republic. Love your content. Thank you, Jose, for being here. God, I'm all over the world tonight. Loving this. This is great. What can and can't my agent mention about school districts? On Long Island, you might have the neighborhood name, but an adjacent lesser school district. Can I specify my preference? School district is top for me. JM, absolutely. You can specify which school district you would like to be in. Now, what an agent can't do, now they'll do their best to try and find you a house in your preferred district. Yeah, we can do that if that's what you want. But what we can't do, we can't steer you. And we can't also tell you what, well, we think this school district is great. Now look, or this school district is better. You should move here. You should look into this school district. We really can't do that. I mean, I'll talk about it's public knowledge that the schools in Bergen County are like top notch, one of the top in the state. But I always tell people go on niche.com. Niche.com is like the best resource for you to look at the data of the towns that you're looking to buy a house, and it gives you all the ratings for the schools, and people actually share their experiences. They actually, like real people that live there will tell you what they think about living there, and you'll get some good information from that. But yeah, you can ask them like, I prefer this. I get this all the time. I get people say, I want to be in this town to be in this school district. Not yeah, it's not an issue. How do you feel about the market in the Texas area in about 2 years? More balanced or much more of a buyer's market? Vic, I don't know. I don't follow that market on the daily, but what I do know, I do generally skim over it because I do get referral leads here, like that come to my channel and they want to be referred to agents in Texas. And when I talk to agents in Texas for the past like month or so, it has softened a lot. I wouldn't say it's a buyer's market yet, but it's probably be heading in that direction because of all the inventory they have. They've been building when the pandemic happened, they built a ton of homes. And now the people are being called back to work, people have left Texas. And now there's all these homes left behind. So, who knows how that's going to work out in the next year or so. But I mean, it could end up being like Florida. It could be. Could be. It's a good shot. Is it Michelle? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Excited to catch you live. Love the show. We're under contract for the third time after losing two. One on inspection, basement had flooded and mold, and one on appraisal. Fingers crossed. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you. Oh my God, God bless you. Third time's a charm. Telling you, is this? I feel it. This one's going to work out for you. All right. Got another question. This is from Bobby. I'm in a medium city in the Carolinas. Will there be less migration here at people's homes if people home state prices are going down? I would imagine there would be. Interesting thing. I read a story. It's either I read a story or saw an interview, something talking about how. Oh no, I don't know what it was. It was an agent who's down in the Jersey Shore, talking about how more people in Jersey are choosing to retire here. That a lot of them are not looking to move anymore because they want to be close to their families and be close to their grandkids. And during the last 5 years, there were a lot of people that left Jersey for the Florida, the Carolinas, and guess what? A lot of them moved back. So, I don't know. I mean, I would think if the prices are going down in their states, yeah, absolutely. But remember, like I just said before, that that migration happened because people could work remotely. It's not the case anymore. So it's not like people can, up and leave and say, "Oh, you know what? I can work from anywhere and I'm leaving." But now people physically have to be in an office. Uh, Vale Creek Cottage. Thanks for being here. I love New York and the East Coast and have visited. Oh, yeah, Vale. Sorry. I visited Australia numerous times, even though it's a 20+ hour flight. You know what? Next time you're in the area, let me know. I'd love to meet up with you. I picked based on school district in Florida. Okay, that's for JM. All right. Got another win here. Here we go. Just sold. Steve Foster says, just sold my home, had a 3.25% mortgage. We ended up buying new construction at a 5.5% promotion rate. Only way we're going to move with the current mortgage rates. You see, Steve, thank you. You just proved my point. This is what I've been saying. I think getting to that 5% range, it's going to motivate people. Those like Steve here, who had 3.25% interest rate. 5.5 did it for him. That's how he was able to move. I totally get it. All right, Kyle T. Very simple question I ask buyers. Can you afford these payments for the next 30 years? Remember, payment isn't just mortgage and interest. So Kyle, so glad you made that comment because the video I'm putting out on Wednesday is talking about homebuyer remorse. I talk about regrets and remorse and all of that and how to avoid and all the things. And I talk about this very thing. The reason why people are struggling with their mortgage payments right now is because the taxes and insurance are increasing. People get stuck in their heads that the mortgage and the principal and interest, right? That's the number that stays the same for the life of the loan. And they think, this is great. I can afford this 30 years. This is going to be great. They don't take into account the rise in the taxes and insurance. And I don't understand why people still don't understand this to this day. I mean, here we are, we're 5 years into the, after the pandemic, and people are saying, "Oh, I'm struggling paying for this. My taxes went up." Well, yeah. And even more now, more so, taxes are increasing higher because the values of the homes have gone up, and all these towns are doing reassessments. And the property taxes are going through the roof. Hearing this a lot in Texas too. The Texas property taxes are probably in certain parts of Texas, not all the whole state, certain towns and cities, the taxes are almost as bad as here in New Jersey. I couldn't believe when I was talking to a friend of mine what she's paying for her property tax. She's paying more than I am, and I'm in North Jersey. So people bought thinking, "Oh, this is gonna be great," and then taxes are shooting up and they're struggling. It's very frustrating. Okay. Oh, Lauren, we got a new subscriber. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I do believe prices will come back to 2020 prices in certain markets for sure. Amir, it might. It very might. That were super inflated, it might happen. Oh, David, I love you, David. Thank you so much. Almost to 100,000. Great job. David, I just want to tell everybody, David Matney is freaking awesome. He has been such a huge supporter, like almost since the life of my channel. I mean, I met David, we met in 2022 at a conference, at a YouTube conference. And he's just been amazing. David, you're awesome. You're so awesome. Thank you so much. Um, oh my God. Greetings from Alaska. I'm all over tonight. I love it. I love it. Love it. Bleed Green, thank you for the super chat. Under contract, new construction, 4 months out for close. When should I lock rate and should I buy a permanent rate buy down? Okay, this is a conversation you need to have with your lender. You're 4 months out. Rate locks only last, I believe, 60 days. So you got another couple of months, but keep an eye on it and just stay on top of it with your lender. And as far as buying the rate buy down, again, that's a conversation with your lender. You got to do the math and see if it works out for you financially, if it makes sense. Hope that helps. Karen, thanks for being here. I'm willing to give up my 2.65% mortgage, just struggling to find a house I like. Glad to hear inventory is rising. Thanks for joining, Karen. And 2.65. That's awesome. That's great. Grant says, my first senior channel. My wife and I need to buy a home by January. When do we start our journey? We are pre-approved already. So by January, I'd be starting now. I don't know where you're located, but it may take, if you're in a market where inventory is limited, I would start that search now. I'm working with people now that are, I think their leases are up either December or January. We've been working now for like a month or so already. So I get on that ball right now. John, glad to catch you live here in California. San Francisco. Awesome. I love it. Thanks for watching. What would you advise your seller to when it comes to an accepted offer, but undisclosed flood zone now wants concessions? Okay. Undisclosed. Now they want concessions. If it's undisclosed flood zone, that's a tough one. So I'm assuming, are you the seller or are you the buyer? That's what I need to know. But if it's undisclosed flood zone, yeah. I mean, I can see why a buyer is going to want to ask for concessions or even renegotiate the price. So I don't know. I would tell them to consider it, and look at other homes that are in flood zones, see what they were selling for. I mean, if it was not disclosed, or maybe they weren't fully aware of it, because listen, FEMA does change their maps periodically. It's possible they weren't aware of it. Yeah. Yeah. Oscar says Florida sellers are still a bit delusional. A house across from us in Jacksonville just listed at nearly 400K, but only 1,500 square feet. Way too much for a small house. Well, you know what, Oscar? They're going to learn pretty darn quick that they're overpriced if they don't do anything about that price. So, yeah. What are your thoughts on the real estate market in Paramus, New Jersey? Paramus is still pretty hot. It's still pretty hot, but again, I haven't kept an eye on it. I'm just like Paramus specifically. But from what what I experienced this weekend, I think things are dying down a lot up here in North Jersey. But got to keep an eye on it. Got to keep an eye. Hi, Boston Cheryl. Thank you. You rock. No, you rock, Cheryl. Thank you for being here. How do you think supply will increase in the Northeast, Boston Metro, New York City Metro, when it's hard to increase supply because there's no more land? Feels a bit hopeless. Listen, preaching to the choir. Somebody called me today that watched one of my videos, and they were inquiring about buying land and building a house in Jersey. I was like, really? And sure enough, they were looking in like southern Jersey, like Gloucester County down there, which is southern Jersey it's actually not far from Pennsylvania, from Philadelphia. And I was shocked. I'm like, you want to build a house here? Because building a house here, it's ridiculous how expensive it is. And then we were going on that land.com website and we were looking at lots of land. For like 1.5 acres, a piece of land was like $400,000. And then there was others that were like upwards towards $1 million. I mean, it's, the thing is, Cheryl, to answer your question, supply increasing in the Northeast, it's just, I think the rates need to come down to a certain point, like I said, like in the fives, to motivate those, who've been sitting on the fence to sell. Because I know there's a lot of people that are just they won't give up those low interest rates, but then life happens and they need to move. So that's my guess. But who am I? What's this one here? The taxes in Essex County are all over the place, especially Irvington. Some are under 10K, some over 14, 15K for similar properties. You got to see when the tax year, because maybe some hadn't been reassessed yet and the taxes haven't gone up yet. Okay. Oh, Rose, you were saying you were the buyer. So the seller, to answer that question about undisclosed flood zone, they should be considering that, because here's what's going to happen. If you pull out of that deal, now they're going to go back on the market and they have to disclose it to the next buyer. Just has to be disclosed to the public regardless, now that it's a known issue. So then what does that mean? He's probably going to have to lower his price. So just saying. Love your show. Planning to leave North Jersey to move to Georgia. I'm nervous about it, but it's cheaper over there. Shay, yes, it is. And listen, I know a guy. I got a guy down there, our buddy Clark, who's here in the chat. Clark serves the Atlanta market. So if you're looking to go to Atlanta or the surrounding area, he can absolutely help you. Let me see here. Oh, thank you, Karani. Appreciate you. Okay, I'm just gonna do one more question, then I'm going to move on to the other news I have to share with you. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay, sorry. Have you seen a spike in price cut volume in Suffolk County, Long Island? Can't find updated data anywhere. I have not. I mean, I haven't like physically seen it myself, but I work with an agent out that I send a ton of referrals to out in Long Island. And she has told me it's a crazy market. It's still crazy out there. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if like in the past week, they're seeing the same thing we are. But I know like she just got one of my buyer referral leads. She got this person under contract, and I think they went 100,000 over asking. But that was, oh God, when did they go into contract? What are we now? End of June? I think the end of May. So it's been a month. So I'm not 100%, but the last I heard things, it was still pretty crazy out there. Okay, guys. So really quick, how are we on time? Okay. All right. Let me share this with you. So remember we talked about this with Zillow not showing Compass's exclusive listings? Here it is, guys. You saw it here first. Compass files a lawsuit against Zillow over the home listings policy. Yeah. Who didn't see this coming? Come on. We knew they were going to do this. All right. Real estate brokerage company Compass has filed a lawsuit against Zillow, claiming the popular real estate website is refusing to accept home listings for properties that had been initially advertised for sale elsewhere. In a filing with the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, Compass claims that Zillow has sought to rely on anti-competitive tactics to protect its monopoly and revenues in violation of antitrust laws. The Zillow ban seeks to ensure that all home listings in this country are steered onto a dominant search platform so Zillow can monetize each home listing and protect this monopoly. Okay. Compass alleges that the Zillow ban was enacted to prevent rivals from competing against it and reduces homeowner choice. In a free and competitive market, competitors' products and strategies should rise and fall on merit, not the whims of a monopolist gatekeeper like Zillow. Okay. Now, let me see if they talked about Zillow's part of it. Okay. We talked about this a couple months ago when this whole thing first came out. And the reason why Zillow is saying they're not going to share Compass's listings is because they are exclusive. What is an exclusive listing? An exclusive listing is one that does not go live on the multiple listing service. Because when you put your home on the market and you put it on MLS, that MLS has a feed that feeds to Realtor.com, Zillow, all those third-party websites, right, where people search for homes. What Zillow's argument is that they're trying to go along with NAR's clear cooperation rule, where if your home is not on MLS, it can't be advertised, right? So that's where they're coming from, and they're claiming to be following NAR's rules. So listen. There's a lot to be said about this, but do I think Zillow is in the right to do that? No, I think I understand they're trying to follow the rules, but this has been going on for a long time with this clear cooperation rule, and exclusive listings have been shown on Zillow. I don't understand why all of a sudden now. Well, I kind of think I kind of know, but it's hurting. It's definitely hurting the consumer. Bottom line, that's who's paying for that, right? They're the ones who are going to suffer. It's the seller that's taking that loss because their home is not getting the maximum exposure. So I don't know. We knew this was going to happen. I'm going to stay on top of this. I want to see how this plays out with this lawsuit and see what how this ruling goes. But another day, another lawsuit in the real estate world. So before we go into more questions and comments, I want to make you guys aware of something that I was made aware of by my client this weekend. Okay. Wait, now we're going to do this one. Okay, so this is a listing I just pulled up on Zillow. Zillow now has a feature. You ready for this? Can you see this? Hold up. You see this here? Explore offer strategies. This house, it's listed, you ready? $949. Explore offer strategies. Choose an offer type. For a strong offer, it's telling you, it's recommending go in at 1.04 million and you'll have an over 90% chance of winning the offer. You want to go competitive? Hey, let's just go 1.01 to 1.04. Moderate, go in at 997 to 1.01. If you want a weak offer, just let's lowball them. Let's go in at 921 to 996. Under 50% chance of winning the offer. This is something new. I had no idea that they were doing this. And it says here, get advice from an agent. Do you see what Zillow's doing? It all goes back to the premier agent. So people who pay, so real estate agents pay a lot of money to become a Zillow premier agent. And this, when I saw this get advice from an agent, somebody's going to click on that and it's going to get connected to one of these people who are paying thousands of dollars a month to get advice from a premier agent. Uh, from, it says here, get advice from an agent. It's going to a premier agent. And then they're going to tell you, you're going to call on and be like, hey, do you think I should, like Zillow saying I should offer 1.04, 1.04. What do you think? Should I offer that? Now, so I want to make you aware of that. The other thing, do not just assume that this is going to be the way to win the house. Because when my client showed me this weekend, I almost died. I'm like, are you for real? Are you for real? And she showed it to me. I'm like, oh, they're serious. They have this feature now. Zillow, listen, Zillow pulls data on the daily basis, right? So that's where they're getting these suggested, offer strategies, these offer prices. It's where they're pulling this from, right? But the market can change overnight. Like I just said, this past weekend, I'm already seeing things slowing down. My client was saying, Zillow's saying I should offer this. I think I need to go in at this number. And I said, back the truck up. No, you don't. You don't need to go in that high. We have our ways of calculating what a good offer is. Do not trust Zillow. You guys, I say this, even that damn Zestimate, I tell you that too. Don't trust that Zestimate either. That's not an accurate number. And now they're telling you to go out and, now they're offering, here's a suggested offer. If you want to win it, you want a 90% or more chance of winning it, go 100,000 over asking price. But the whole point is, like I said, it says, get advice from an agent. It's another ploy for you to connect to one of the premier agents who's paying for the advertising to be a premier agent. So, okay, all right. So there I said it. Okay. I hope that helped you guys. So if you come across that, just be aware of it and be careful. Do not rely on it. Talk to a real estate agent to get an opinion of what you should be offering. Now, I can't tell you an exact number of what to offer. I can suggest a range, right? Like that's what Zillow's doing right there. Okay, if you offer between this, you got a good chance. We dive really deep into the numbers. Like myself and my teammates, like we really get into the numbers and to figure out what would be the best range to offer on a home. What Zillow's doing there, it's pulling data from God knows where. All right. This is what I've noticed with Zestimates. I know I'm on a tangent here, but with Zestimates, they don't always pull the sale data from that specific local market, from that specific town. I saw this last year. I told you guys this story. I was going to list a house and the seller showed me the Zestimate. And when I dove deeper into it, I go, but yeah, wait a minute. It's pulling sales from surrounding towns. There wasn't one sale from the town the house was, the house I was going to sell it. Well, there was no data from any sales. Well, I knew there were sales that happened in this town. So just please be careful. That's all I got to say. All I have to say about that. Okay. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for being here. Made it live. Love your channel. Living here in Bradenton, and the homeowners are still holding on to these high prices. And Nicole, they're in for a rude awakening. They got to get real. Oh, Cackleberry Cottage, how are you? The only good thing about owning a house in California is Prop 13, but now the insurance situation may cancel that out. I know. I feel for you guys out there with the insurance. Good Lord. It's a lot. Hi, Rachel. Thanks for being here. Avon, Ohio, $210,000 townhouse since 205. Just paid off. Retiring in 9 months. Don't like laundry in basement. Should I sell? Listen, Rachel, that is up to you. If your current life situation is dictating that you need a space without as many stairs, you need laundry on whatever the first floor, then maybe it's time for you to think about selling. But only you can make that decision. You have to look at your life situation and plus your financial situation and make sure it's the right decision. All right. We're about to sign a year-long rental lease. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to find a house. When should we begin looking? Okay, so if you're about to sign a year-long rental lease, start looking for a house in about 6 months. Give yourself 6 months, depending on your market. Like I said before to the other person, if you're in a market where it's still a strong seller's market, um, you might want to start a little bit sooner. Just saying, if the inventory is limited. Oh, I got a super sticker. Thank you so much. Oh my God, you guys are so freaking generous. I love it. Miss H, how are you? Thank you for being here. I know you're late, but you made it. I'm so glad. So glad you're here. Rude Rabbit, if you believe Zillow, I have some land in the Gulf for sale, cheap, in the Gulf of America, potentially underwater. Okay. All right. AJ says, looking for a house in Washington County, Pennsylvania, Marcellus capital. Not only houses have become unaffordable, but no OGM with the house. I know. I'm sorry. I know. Pennsylvania, I think it's going to turn. I think we're going to see that turn. Oh, I love this. Rude Rabbit. When checking an agent, I ask, are you a Zillow Premier agent? If so, run. Oh my God. Okay. It's got a lot going on here. A lot going on. Clark, my friend, sometimes it sucks that MLS sold our data to Zillow. They turn around and sell it back for profit, then take splits with agents, brokerages too for another profit. Zillow, it's such a freaking scam because of what it does to the real estate agents. And a lot of people don't understand that. They don't. I mean, is it a great platform to look for houses? I mean, yeah, I guess, but just be careful of what you're looking at. Like I just shared with you guys with that offer strategy thing. I'm sorry, that's a bunch of crap. I would not be relying on that. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. What is this? Is it okay to leave a negative review for a seller's agent? I mean, yeah, you can. You can. I mean, if you're unhappy, why not? I just passed my 4th agent in the same area, different listed companies to 4th know my name. I'm so burnt out. Oh, I hate hearing these stories about bad agents. Um, let me see. About to sign on a house that's 10,000 under list price. Is that okay? You're in Dallas, Dallas Fort Worth. Is that okay? Is that okay for you? I mean, I can't tell you if that was, I without seeing the home and all, like and plus I'm not your real estate agent, but I mean, is that okay for you? Are you comfortable with that price? You know, just go like, what's your realtor say? You know, if you think it's competitive and it'll get you the house and your real estate agent says so, then that's great. Hey, Stacy, good to see you. Zillow probably added the offer choices to help their premier agents who are in the 80% look legitimate. There are so many financially illiterate people that will fall for that new trick. It's sad. You're so right, Stacy. And that's what annoys me. People are going to fall for that. Like my client, I couldn't believe when she said Zillow saying I should offer this. I'm like, since when do we listen to Zillow? When do we listen to Zillow? We don't listen to Zillow. No, no. There's always a catch with this crap, that they do. I'm just saying. They drive me nuts. They really do. Sorry, did I just say that out loud? I did. And I don't care. Okay. William, thanks for being here. Boston house prices are still insane. Do you think Boston prices will go down too? Sellers have been decreasing their list price a little bit by 10, 20,000. I do, my good buddy Jen Sylvester, she's up in Massachusetts. Although she's not in Boston per se, she's in Plymouth, but she has her hand on the market and she is telling me it is softening up there. Will they go down further? Maybe. Maybe as listen, the longer houses sit, prices have to come down. It's just the way it is. Like I tell people, don't chase the market. Price competitively. And if you're not getting any offers, any showings in the first like 2-3 weeks, you got a pricing problem. All right. Let's see. Don says, I have a good agent. Problem is finding something we want to buy that isn't overpriced by 100K or more. Don, just have patience. Just have patience. I mean, I know you don't want to hear that, but it's going to happen. TalkNet says, based on global stats, decentralization, AI, employment, crash of industries, bubble, the VD pop numbers, bond bank implosion. This isn't a recalibration, turns into global uprising. I hope you're not right about that. I'm just saying, I hope you're not right. I don't want to see that. Let me see here. Grim says, I stick with Redfin over Zillow or Trulia. Redfin is a good platform to look for homes. They're not doing the stupid stuff that Zillow is doing, like these offer strategies, although it just flew into my head, and Zillow does this too. I believe it's Redfin, and it might be Realtor.com. They also talk about flood zone risks. I had people ask me about this. They're looking at a house and like, oh, it says the flood risk here is, a 6 out of 10. I'm like, oh, here we go again. Don't rely on that either. Don't. If you have any concern, now if the seller is saying that it's not in a flood zone, your agent can pull up a map. You can even search the FEMA maps yourself to find out if the home is actually in a flood zone. You can also talk to an insurance agent. They have even better ways to find out if a home is in a flood zone or near a flood zone. So I just wanted to put that out there to you guys. Ivan Shortputsky. I like that handle. We'll be retiring to an area where we will not know anyone. What is your suggestions on finding a legit buyer's agent? I can help you. I'll share my website at the end. You can click on that link. There's a form, and I can get you connected to somebody who knows the market, and help you get established. So, yeah. Let me see here. All right, what do we got here? I was frequently ghosted, and the seller took tons of mounted items, followed up with a bad past job. Excuse was she didn't know, offered 200. Listen, you know what? I got to tell you, I've seen some really crazy stuff that sellers do, and selling a house is emotional. And no matter what the reason why a person's selling the house, it's very emotional for them, and sometimes it drives people to do crazy things. Just saying. What do buyer's agents do once an offer is accepted? Trying to see if it's worth it to have one because I can put an offer together myself. I love this question. Thank you for asking it. So, what I will tell you is what we do. Okay, once the offer is accepted, we're basically there to facilitate the whole process. And you're probably thinking, "Oh, big deal. I could do that myself." We're there to be the buffer between the buyer and the seller. So let's say we move on to the home inspections, okay? And you find some things in the home inspection that you're like, I want to have fixed or I want a credit for. And then I go back to the seller's agent and we say, hey, this is what we're looking for. Now here in Jersey, we also have attorneys, but the agents speak to each other as well. Because sometimes it's better that the agents talk to each other versus the attorneys, because the attorneys, it gets even more emotional because when the seller and the buyer sees the language written, on the addendums and the riders, the letters back and forth about, the whole negotiating, they get their backs up because it sounds really harsh and they get emotional. What we do as the agents, we have that conversation to find the common ground. And sometimes it's hard for a buyer to go and confront the seller themselves. Look, maybe you can do that. And that's awesome. If you can do that, that's fine. But we're there to do that, to help navigate that part. Anything that comes up with the sale, like say we have to do an Oprah request, we have to go find out if there's permits. There's all these like little things that go along with trying, when you're getting the deal closed, that we step in and we take that stuff over, so you don't have to stress about it. But the key thing is just kind of keep things in motion, keep the deal moving along. And then if we run into bumps in the road where, seller and buyer aren't agreeing on things, this is where we step in and we help out. But that's like the gist of it. I hope I answered your question. But by all means, if you want to do it yourself, do it yourself. I think it's great. Oh, look who's here. Bob Curran, how are you? Yes, I'm almost at 100,000 subs. I'm like right there. What am I at right now? Hold on, guys. I gotta pull up my little appy here. I'm at 99,705. I'm right there. So if you guys are watching and you never subscribe, could you subscribe? Because like this is like waiting to go into labor, waiting for these last 1,000 subs to hit 100,000. I mean, oh my God, it's been crazy. But I thank you guys so much, so much for your support, for being here every week, to join me on Monday nights. You could be anywhere else on a Monday and you choose to listen to me and watch. And even when you watch my weekly videos on Wednesdays, God, that means the world. It really means the world to me. I so appreciate it. You have no idea. This has been a grind for 6 years. I've been running this channel, putting out content, all for the purpose of getting message, getting information out to educate people when it comes to selling and buying a home. And it's just, I'm just so grateful. So grateful. Um, let's see here. Oscar says builders seem to be quietly undercutting private sellers. When do you think sellers will take notice and start dropping prices before it's too late for them to compete? That's a good one, Oscar. When? I don't know. You would hope it would be sooner than later. Listen, personally speaking here, was trying to sell my property down at the Delaware beaches. I took it off. It was on the market for 2 months. I had to take it off for the summer because I'm renting it out. But I realized there's so much new construction, and that's what I'm competing against. So when it goes back on the market in the winter, we're going to see how the market is. But yeah, I'm going to be pricing competitively against the new builds because it's tough. It's tough. Oh, hi, Betsy. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. You're so amazing. Thank you, Miss H. I appreciate it. MH, where am I going to put the plaque? It's going to go right here on the shelf. Believe me, maybe I'll do an unboxing of it in front of all you guys on a live stream. I think I want to do that for sure. Yeah, you guys deserve that. I'm going to unbox it here when I get it. Know anything about Open Door? They offer cash to buy my house. Rachel, be careful with Open Door. There was a study that was done that Open Door ended up, people who sold their home to Open Door sold less than what they would have gotten if they put it out on the open market. Be very careful with Open Door. That's all I'm going to say. Because what's going to happen is they may send you they'll give you an attractive offer. And then what they'll do, they'll come back in and they'll send somebody to check out the house, kind of do an inspection. And they're going to come back and say, oh yeah, you know what? No, we're going to offer you this because you have all these things wrong with your house. I'd be very careful. If you're going to do it, if you have to do it, you're in a bind, you need to sell it. I understand that. Before you do it, bring a real estate agent in there to give you a valuation of your home to see get their opinion. How much do they think they could sell it for out on the open market? T. Anderson, what do I think about the Florida market? Well, parts of Florida, as I said before, definitely in a buyer's market. It has flipped. Some cities, some towns, they're not there yet, but they're getting there. Majority of the state is definitely over there. Oh, yes. Thank you, Clark. There was a Federal Trade Commission lawsuit against Open Door in regard to lying about fees, etc. This is why I have such amazing people here to support me. So yes, to be careful of that, Rachel. They had a lawsuit against them. You may not get as much selling with them as if you would to put it out on open market with a real estate agent. So just please be careful with that. Okay. You guys, if you need to be connected to a real estate agent, I have agents around the country that I can get you connected to. Go to this website. You're going to click on this. It's going to bring you to a quick form. You're then going to get an email that has another form. It's a questionnaire. It goes into more detail about where you want to move, if you're a buyer or seller, price point, or you're pre-approved, all the things. I need to have all this information in order for me to find the right agent for you. Super, super important. And a lot of people just don't bother filling out that second form. You need to fill out the second form. It just, in order to get you the right person, I have to have that information. So, and yes, I'm just total transparency here. I do get a referral fee, but only if the sale closes. Okay. My service to you, finding you an agent, is completely free. I don't charge you a thing. So there's that. So feel free, click on that link if you feel, or if you need a real estate agent in your market. Happy to help you out. And you guys have been freaking amazing. Thank you so, so much for joining me tonight. Stay tuned on Wednesday. Got a good video coming out. Don't miss out on it. And you guys have a great week. I will see you all next Monday. Have a good one.